Okay? So, this is no longer his desire. This sin, this stuff that's in his heart, that he sees, that's been brought to light by God's law. And we need, one of the questions to ask myself daily, that we got to ask ourselves, what our, desires are. Because when we get close to God in prayer, what we're doing, he will shine his light and his law or whatever on us. And we will see that stuff. When we are in the light, we will see what is wrong with us, the problems that we need to address, the stuff we need to stop doing, and a lot of times, if people are backslidden or they're not saved, and they want to have just some carnal relationship with the Lord and pretend that they are, they won't get close to the Lord like that because, they don't want that stuff exposed, And he goes on to say in verse 18, "For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, nothing good dwells. For to will is present within me." The goodness that he wants to do is within him. "But how to perform what is good, I do not find." Paul admits, that there's nothing good in him. Okay? And we've gone through that a lot in Romans, that there is nothing good in us. Nothing good that seeks God. Nothing good from anything. There's that whole list in Romans 3 we went through about how messed up we are, and the stuff that is in us is wicked, It's just, we are completely, it says that we are haters of God in the Bible. The Bible uses a lot of harsh terms. In Romans, when we were going through it a few weeks ago, it says that there is none righteous, no, not one. There is none who understands. There is none who seek after God. They have all turned aside. They have together become unprofitable. There is none who does good, no, not one. Their throat is an open tomb. With their tongues they practice deceit. With the poison of asp is under their lips, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their ways, and the way of peace they have not known. And it's an important one right here. There is no fear of God before their eyes. So, that pretty much covers it. What we are outside of God, okay? But when God's Spirit comes in us and we receive Him, we receive Jesus Christ, and it is a true conversion, we have a new nature in us, okay? We still have that fallen nature that we got to deal with. But that's what he's addressing here, because it is a battle, okay? And the sin is rough. It's, like we were talking before, it's continually to grow, okay? And we're going to talk about it in a minute. So, verse 19 and 20. Verses 19 and 20. Paul, is going on talking about the evil still, about that he doesn't want to do, and the good that he does want to do, but he's practicing the evil. And, but it's a sin that dwells in him that's doing this. And, even though he desires to do these good things, and follow the Lord, he agrees with God and His holy law, he is still messing up, doing evil, whatever it is, gossip, jealousy, covetousness, lust, lying. We'll look at the works of the flesh here in a few minutes. And, in 21, he said, I find in a law that evil is present within me, okay? So he knows that this law is showing him God's law. Obviously, Paul is close to Jesus Christ, okay? Because he is close to him, and God's light and His law are shown, written on his heart. He has a relationship with Him that is tight, because it is revealing the evil that is within him. And, he says, the evil that is within me, the one who wills to do good. So he is willing to do good, but there still is this evilness in him. Okay? Even though he's willing to do good, it ain't going anywhere. We're in these fleshly bodies till we die. So it is going to be a battle until, we pass on to, till Christ completes his perfect work and we end up to our glorious body, till we the day of Christ or whatever. But in 21, so he knows by God's holy law, evil is in him. Even though he is saved and wants to do good, follow God, the sin still is in him, just festering there, waiting for him. I know in Genesis that, what did God tell Cain? That, something about doing good, and now I just forgot. But if you don't know that sin is waiting for you, crouching at the door? Like, sin is literally waiting for you. As soon as you go outside that door, whatever's on your voicemail, whatever's on this, whatever's on that, the enemy, just like in the parable of the sower, about him throwing the seeds down into this and that there is just a handful of seeds that get in the good soil, that grow root, to where these people understand they are reborn, accept Christ, and have root, and they endure. But there's also those people who accept Jesus Christ, or they think they do. It's a worldly thing, and the root, it says, is a parable of the sowers. Their seed is in the rocks. So it might sprout up real quick, and like it might be like an emotional thing, to where they'd be like, yeah, I accepted the Lord, and this and that, but it fades away. Over time, you'll see within whatever it is that, they just move on to something else. Jesus was just a phase, It was just a phase, I've seen it in friends of mine. I've seen it and that. And, sometimes it's genuine conversions that they do, and they're living the walk, they're fruit in their life, and they just backslide. But sometimes it's that they have never truly received, and that's what it's talking about in that parable. So this nature that's in us, that's sinful. There's so many different levels between Satan and just our sinful nature and everything that the enemy is trying to corrupt us. And, God's holy law, is exposing this sin and this stuff that's going on in our life. And, Paul's happy, at least because, by his relationship that's close to Jesus Christ, the law is exposing this stuff so they can deal with it. In verse 22, because, God's law is pointing out those hidden issues of his heart and the inward man. So he is accepting, too, in verse 23, that he is at war in himself, basically, at war with, his members and the sin that's in him. Since he has, God's revived spirit in him, and he needs to, basically go on the offense and on the attack, get fully connected with God and start dealing and, taking control of these issues that are in his life. And the sin in his life, because if he doesn't, the stuff that God points to us, I know this from my own life. There's issues that God will point and show me, okay, that's in my heart, that's messed up. And it's leading me to use, or it's using, mixed up with something else. And God is pointing this out to me. And I know it very clearly, because when I'm in prayer or even reading the Bible, I'm being convicted. And I'm telling you, if we do not deal with that, if we do not deal with what God is pointing at in our lives, it's going to end up being a disaster, because that thing will fester. The roots, instead of the roots of God's, Spirit and Him, knowing Him, growing deeper and deeper, it's going to be the roots of whatever wickedness is in your heart that's going to grow. And it's happened to me, and it took me on a miserable 5-year journey that was horrible. And, so in, let's see, And in 24, Paul's just, he's, it is a frustrating thing because it's a constant battle. He cries out, who will deliver me from this body of death? And I looked this up. It was actually pretty messed up that some tyrants did. Back in the day, they would actually tie, right, a dead body that was rotting to a person. And that was used for one of their methods of, I don't know if it was to get rid of them or torture or whatever, but that was done to Christians and other people. And I was just looking at it and was explaining that as one of the, it's really crazy. I mean, some of the stuff that they came up with, that messed up stuff to do is nuts. But let's see, in verse 25, so, in 25 he thanks Jesus Christ as Lord, that he will serve God and his law, follow him, but that he will have unwanted stumbles in the flesh, while, in this corrupt body that we live in, along the way. There is, you basically can either you can't pretty much sit in the same spot. You're either going to go backwards or forwards. And when you're on that road with Christ, if you are saved, because sin will grow in you, okay? And it'll carry you away back into relapse or into just backsliding into whatever it is, whether if it's drugs or just, from pride, there's so much different stuff that it can carry back you in your old nature. And that old nature will never give up. It will continue to try to come back and to come back. But what we need to do is that we need to be as close to Christ as we can. We need to serve him. We need to let him be our reward like we've been talking about. And, because the thing is that sin is not giving up. If we just go through and take a mediocre attitude towards serving our Lord Jesus Christ, then what we're going to get is going to be a really weak relationship to where we might go to church once in a while and a bunch of headaches and problems. But he's not truly our God. Because the thing is that, throughout the scriptures, New Testament, it says, if you know me, you will abide in my word. It is all about knowing him. Matthew 7, it talks about how many people are going to come to him on the day of judgment and say, Lord, Lord. I'm even talking about pastors, I did this, I did that. And he's going to say, depart from me, I never knew you, And it's a scary thing. And that is one of the reasons why, we talk about here a lot about examining our relationships with Jesus Christ. Because we want to make sure that we are living in the Spirit, that we are his, that he is our God. That we wake up and in the morning, he is our number one thing. We go to him and seek advice. Lord, this is my day. Get up, worship him, praise him. The Bible says we are made, for his glory. We're made to worship him. And, that old nature is so nasty that wants to come up. Even in me, like this week, was a really rough week from the very beginning. Right after church last week, with the kids, getting some from school, and then the just taxes, and it was so crazy. And it was, about a day and a half of craziness till I was really actually, caught myself and started just seeking the Lord, and stuff just started falling into place. Just simple things, to him. I mean, he cares about the little things. We think about the power bill, this, that, whatever it may be that we need to deal with. Oh, we can pray about that, and just by talking to God, by getting to know him a little bit more today than yesterday, and just seeking him, praising him, telling him what's on your mind, he will take care of us. He knows what we need. He is going to take care of us. And anytime, we ask him, say, Lord, this is going on. I don't understand why this isn't happening. Or this, and maybe there's sin in our lives that has to be addressed. I know with me, stuff did not go how I even remotely